Welcome, welcome. This is Jeanette, Sunday with Inspired Reflections. Let me go ahead and fix my screen. I'm Jeanette, and I'm so happy to be doing this series with you on how to bring God in your business. And we're looking at the story of Jacob and Laban, right? So, what I did last week is that I read the whole Bible verse to you, and then I gave you points on what does it mean. So, today we're going to do the same thing. So this time we're going to go in the topic of today is risking my reputation. Okay. So let's start with Genesis 31, verses 22 through 25. So at that time, I got my Bible in front of me and I'm going to start reading. In this topic, Laman pursues Jacob, right? Because Laman said that they stole idols for him, not knowing that Rachel's the one that stole them. So let's read this and then we'll go into what this means in putting it in your business. Okay. It's a really good story. All right, here we go. On the third day, Laman was, and I'm reading from the NIV. Okay. So Genesis 31, verses 20 through to 55, NIV. On the third day, Laman was told that Jacob had fled, taking his relatives with him. He pursued Jacob for 7 days and caught up with him in the hill country of Gilead. Then God came to Laman and Aramean in a dream at night and said to him, "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad." Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country of Gilead when Laman overtook him, and Laman and his relatives camped there too. Then Laman said to Jacob, "What have you done? You deceived me, and you carried off my daughters like captives in a war. Why did you run off secretly and deceive me? Why didn't you tell me so I could send you away with joy and singing the music of timbrels and harps? You didn't even let me kiss my grandchildren and my daughters goodbye. You have done a foolish thing. I have the power to harm you. But last night, the God of your father said to me, 'Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad.' Now you have gone off because you long to return to your father's household. But why did you steal my gods?" Jacob answered Laban, "I was afraid because I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find anyone who has your gods, that person shall not live in the presence of our relatives. For see for yourself whether there is anything of yours here with me. And if so, take it." Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the gods. So Laman went into Jacob's tent, into Leah's tent, and into the tent of the two female servants, but he found nothing. After he came out of Leah's tent, he entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household gods and put them inside her camel saddle, and was sitting on them. Laman searched through everything in the tent but found nothing. Rachel said to her father, "Don't be angry, my lord, that I cannot stand up in your presence. I have my period." So he searched but could not find the household gods. Jacob was angry and took Laman to task. "What is my crime?" he asked Laman. "How have I wronged you that you hunt me down? Now that you have searched through all my goods, what have you found that belongs to your household? Put it here in front of your relatives and mine and let them judge between the two of us. I have been with you for 20 years now. Your sheep and goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten rams from your flocks. I did not bring you animals torn by wild beasts. I bore the loss myself, and you have demanded payment from me for whatever was stolen by day or night. This was my situation, that heat consumed me in the daytime and the cold at night, and sleep fled from my eyes. It was like this for 20 years. I was in your household. I worked for you 14 years for two daughters and 6 years for your flock, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac have not been with me, you would surely have sent me away empty handed. But God has seen my hardship and the toil of my hands, and last night he rebuked you." Laban answered Jacob, "The women are my daughters, the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks. All you see is mine. Yet What can I do today about these daughters of mine, about the children they have born? Come now, let's make a covenant, you and I, and let's serve as witnesses between us. So Jacob took a stone and set it on a pillar. He said to his relatives, gather some stones. So they took stones and piled them up in a heap, and they ate there by the heap. Laban called it Jagar Sahudotha. I hope I said that right. Sahadutha. And Jacob called it Gilead. Laban said, this heap is a witness between you and me today. This is why it's called Gilead. It was also called Mizpah, because he said, may the Lord keep watch between you and me when we are away from each other. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you take any wife beside my daughter, even though no one is with us, remember that God is a witness between you and me. Laban said to Jacob, here is the heap, and here is this pillar I have set up between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness that I will not go past this heap to your side to harm you, and that you will not go past this heap and pillar to the side to harm me. May the God of Abraham and the God of Ner, the God of their father, judge between us. So Jacob took an oath in the name of the fear of his father Isaac. He offered a sacrifice there in the hill country and invited his relatives to a meal. After they have eaten, they spent the night there. Early the next morning, Laban kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them. Then he left and returned home. Now you're probably saying, what's this got to do with business? Well, I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to break it down in 6 points. Entrepreneurship lessons from Jacob, right? Point number one. You maybe want to write this down. I'll give you a chance to grab a pencil and pen because they're really good, okay? Number one, strategic planning and knowing when to move, right? We don't want to move without God in our lives or Him giving you the idea of when to move or when to do that right move. Jacob realized that staying under Laban's control was limiting his growth. So he made a strategic decision to leave and establish himself independently. Now, how does this apply as a business application for our own business? Entrepreneurs must recognize when it's time to transition from employment to running their own business. Point number two, sometimes partnership or work environments may become restrictive, and knowing when to move on is a crucial thing for growth. Point three, proper planning and preparation are essential before making a business big move. Okay. Then we're going to go to B, main subject, and then we got subsubjects. Number two, hard work and diligence pays off. Jacob spent years working under Laban, building both Laban's wealth and his own. His dedication and persistence led to success even under unfair conditions. How do you apply this in the business application of today? Hard work and commitment are fundamental to business success. Entrepreneurs must be willing to invest time and effort before seeing results. Success often comes through patience and consistency, even when facing challenges. Here's subject three, handling conflict and negotiations. Laban pursued Jacob, leading to a confrontation. However, rather than allowing the dispute to escalate, Jacob and Laban negotiated a peaceful resolution through a covenant. Business application. How do you apply it for today's business? Disputes are inevitable. They're going to come whether you like them or not in business, whether with partners, clients, or competitors. Successful entrepreneurs must develop a negotiation skills to resolve conflicts personally and professionally. Establishing clear agreements and contracts can prevent misunderstandings and disputes. This is very important. Never do the handshake in today's day. Always do your contracts in writing and make sure that all parties must sign the contract. Subject number 4, business ethics and integrity. Jacob had been honest in his dealings. Despite Laban's unfair treatment, he remained ethical and transparent. which ultimately led to his success. How do you apply this in the business applications of today? Ethical business practices build trust and credibility with customers, employees, and partners. Long term success depends on integrity. Cutting corners or being deceitful may bring short term gains, but harm a business in the long run. Entrepreneurs should ensure their business dealings are fair, honest, and transparent. We follow this at the Creative Spirit channel. We always I always ask why the money of the, to be advertising with us is so cheap. My answer to them is because we love them and we want to see them succeed. So that's showing business ethics and integrity. Point number 5, and the last point, building independence and financial growth. Jacob worked hard under Laban before becoming self sufficient and gaining his own wealth. He did not rely on slowly on his inheritance or luck. He built his success strategically. Okay. How do you apply this on business application of today? Small business owners should focus on gradually growing their business and financial independence. Entrepreneurs may start by working under others or in partnership before branching out on their own. Sustainable financial growth comes through wise management, reinvestment, and long term vision. Okay. Oh, point number 6. Sorry. The importance of trust and business in relationships. Jacob's story shows how trust, or lack of it, can impact business relationship. Through he and Laban had trust issues, they eventually set clear boundaries for the future. How do you apply this for today's business? Business applications. Trust is a foundation for strong business partnership, customer relationship, and team management. If trust is broken, it's important to set clear agreements moving forward to prevent further issues. Entrepreneurs should ensure mutual respect and fairness in their business relationship. In conclusion, a biblical blueprint for small business growth. Jacob's journey in Genesis 31:20 through 25 highlights key principles that small business owners can apply. 1. Know when to move and take a risk. 2. Work hard, remain diligent, even in tough times. 3. Resolve conflicts wisely through negotiations. 4. Conduct business with honesty and integrity. 5. Focus on long term independence and financial growth. 6. Build and maintain trust in business relationships. By applying these principles, entrepreneurs can navigate challenges, build successful businesses, and operate with wisdom and integrity. Would you like me to expand on anything now? Is a good time to ask questions. But this is why we bring God into our business. Everywhere you read in the Bible, God will show you how to apply it in your business. And this is what we're doing today. So basically, you know, Laman went through all of this and he proved himself and God blessed him for it, right? Because like I said last week, when Jacob first went there, right? And he he went there to follow and to marry Rachel. So he made an agreement because what happens? His donkey had all the bride's treasure. Back in those days in Israel, for you to get married to a bride, you had to have a bride price. Unfortunately, when he was away, the donkey got robbed. He lost all the bride price. So he had to come up with a creative way to win Rachel. So the father said, work for Rachel 7 years. Imagine that, working 7 years to catch a bride. Okay. Now this is where Laman cheats him. When the 7 years was up and he was about to marry Rachel, he brings in a bride. They get married, but her face is covered, right? It's not like today's veil that you can see through. I think maybe that's why they invented the veil see through, because you don't want to marry the wrong person. But in those times, I guess it was covered. He couldn't see the face. until that night. So they get married, they go into the bridal room, and the room is dark. She don't put candles. They make love. He's married to her. And what happens the next morning when he wake up, he goes, "You're not Rachel." And he marries the sister Leah. The father did that exchange. Why? Because Jacob's hands were blessed and he didn't want to lose the blessing of the money that Jacob was making him, right? So he says, I know you're mad. I know you're mad. And I'm improvising here. But, you know, I will need you to work 7 more years. I'll give you, you work 7 more years for you, and I promise you can have Leah. So Jacob, against his anger and everything, he said, fine, I'll give you 7 more years. So he goes and he marries and he works for 7 years. And this time on the marriage day, he looks to make sure that it was Leah. He verifies, right? So then they get married. And then Jacob goes, well, I don't want to lose him. So they make up another deal, right? But and then as you see, Laman starts cheating on him again. So he had like flocks, and the flocks last week I talked about them, the spotted flocks versus the non-spotted flocks. And what Laman did when he saw that, like he would tell Jacob, if he sees like the sheeps that were not spotted was bigger than the ones that spotted. He goes, yeah, all the ones that are not spotted are mine. He goes, okay, no problem. So then God gave him, hey, I'm going to give you a strategy. So it was a stick that he had to do with a bunch of leaves. And he had to do something that God told him. Well, what happened? The ones with spotted grew. So what did Laman do? He saw the following, that those that were spotted are now more than the ones that are not spotted. He goes, hey, the ones that are spotted this week are mine. You can take the ones that are not spotted. You see what Laman was doing, right? He was cheating him, taking everything that he thought, it was a bad business, but he wasn't of God, was he? So this is one thing that I learned in church just recently. One of the things you want to learn or keep in mind is the fact that don't go into business with someone that is not equally yoked with you. If they're not of God, do not go into business with them. We have also experienced that. And guess what? We prayed for the Lord to grow our channel. Once we got rid of the people who were not of God, that they were not believers. They were good people, but unfortunately, they weren't believers. God took them out of the way and brought us believers and made the channel grow. So, this is what I'm saying. You have to listen to God's voice, which is a calm, still voice, and He will tell you what to do. Sometimes we don't like to listen because we think that's our own imagination coming up with that. But to be honest, if you listen to the calm, still voice, He will tell you peacefully, joyfully what to do. If it follows God's word, that's the voice you want to hear. Okay. So I hope today that you enjoyed this lesson on entrepreneurship and having God put into your business. If you want to listen to the lesson today, again, you can always go to Genesis 31:22 and 55 and revisit this video. And you can see it on the Inspired Reflection YouTube page or Facebook page, or you can see it in the Creative Spirit channel page on YouTube, or because March 1st, we're going to be heading into a new platform. You're going to be able to see it on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Chrome, Google Play, and all the mobile apps. And there's another one there PlayStation. So, I mean, we're expanding, and that's God's grace upon our business. So, if you're a small business that likes to, you would like to advertise, go ahead and shoot me an email at the Creative Spirit Channel at gmail.com. At this time, I would like to say thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, just feel free to email me at inspiredreflections77@gmail.com. Thank you so much and have a blessed day. And I hope your week is a blessed one to remember. Always put God in your business first before making any decisions.